Playoffs are starting to heat up here.
Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll get some more good hockey and see how it goes.
Stay tuned.
Chatter, this is the BlueShirt Barn, and hopefully you subscribe and listen and enjoy the content. Thank you. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the BlueShirt Barn Hockey Show. My name's Tom Murphy. That's Jerry Spangenberg on the other end there. Jerry, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Not bad. Watching some hockey today. Carolina jumped on Washington today. Kind of a weird game from my end because Washington kind of had control of things, it looked like, for like a period and a half, and Carolina scored, and after that, like, it just kind of, everything, I don't know, kind of unraveled for Washington.
I wouldn't even call it jumping on. I would call it a bit of an ass whooping. That's what I'd call it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's funny, like, they just seemed like they had control of the puck, control of the game, and all of a sudden Carolina scores, and it was just like, after that, it was just all downhill for Washington.
We were out to dinner, and I checked the score. It was 2-0. I'm like, wow, 2-0 already. And then I came back, and then I got back to the house. I'm like, 4-0. They shut them out.
I mean, I think one was an empty net too. So
yeah, but still, I mean, they shut them out.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like you hear Washington's coach, he keeps preaching like you have more time. Like we have to be patient against them. You can't just give the puck up all the time because of the way they pressure you. And you just watch the game. There were some missed calls early in the game. There were some real shaky calls. Like, I was really surprised. Like, Ovechkin got tripped right in front of the referee, and he's, like, looking at the referee. I was like,
Yeah,
that's like the all-time leading goal scorer.
Sometimes the officiating is almost like it's fixed when they're watching you, like literally watching it, and then they just don't make any calls. It's just like, dude, really?
They kind of let him play. It was a pretty physical game. I mean, really was. And, hey.
I'll go back and watch some highlights of it. I'm excited. I'll watch the Edmonton game here since I'm up after we're finished.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing. Edmonton, they're like a steamroller right now on Vegas. I mean, that building's like nuts.
It's here we are talking the other day saying that we think Vegas is stronger.
Yeah, I know. I picked Vegas too, like a dummy.
Edmonton's just steamrolling these guys.
And that's a hard building when they come at and they get ahead of you and that building gets into it. They feed off those fans and like they just look like they're like a step faster than like anyone they play when they get like that. It's crazy. Like it's like a frenzied pace they play at. It's like a track meet. You know what I mean? It's just wild. I mean, last night too. Look at how bad Winnipeg played.
The score is 1-0 in progress. I think you had a live update.
Yeah,
on that,
they
correct?
actually scored again, Edmonton, so it's 2-0.
Okay.
With about 6 and change left in the first period.
2-0. My bottom banner is completely wrong because they scored. It's 2-0, and it is 9:42 p.m. on May 10th. 2-0 Edmonton.
Look at the other night. Like Winnipeg gets hammered by Dallas. They come back last night and win 4-0. It's
right.
Like the coach called them out. I mean, he said, like, our effort was really poor, this, that, and the other thing. Scott Arniel, who we know from the Rangers, was with the Rangers when Vigneault was there. He, like, kind of called his team out, and they really responded last night, came out. And
it's almost like they get the jitters, and then they get called out, and then, boom, they come back.
They played really well. So, I mean, that game's on tomorrow. The game 3's tomorrow afternoon, so we'll see what happens there.
All I know is whatchamacallit there, Washington better wake up. Better wake
Yeah,
up real quick or they're going to be down 3-1 in that series.
yeah. And last night too, Florida came back, won in overtime, and kind of got back in that series, which was big.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Brad Marchand, almost 40 years old, gets the game winner.
That was crazy because that puck deflected off of somebody and it like his shot came in, it deflected and it went like straight up and right over the goalie's shoulder and in.
Yeah. Marchand, going back to his years in Boston, I believe they said he's 4-0 lifetime in the playoffs against Toronto. So he's kind of been like their kryptonite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Boston was their kryptonite too, not
He's
just him.
so weird because he's such an agitator, but he was like almost like a Sean Avery. Like
Really
he'll
good player.
he'll he'll take a whole team after a game, but he'll make you pay for it later on. He'll bury a goal just to put the icing on the cake.
It's like Tom Wilson. I'm watching him throw his body around, and nothing for nothing. Like, I'm not giving a lot of sympathy to Tom Wilson considering some of the things he's done over the years, but
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
he
One
turned
shot to the
around.
head,
Puck
shot to
is
the
nowhere
head.
near him, and this guy from Carolina just knocked him right on his keister. And it's like, come on, man, that's a penalty. That's like totally obstruction. And he's like looking at the referee, like putting his hands up, and I'm like, well, I'm like, you're not going to get a lot of sympathy, dude. Who you are, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
who you
Like,
are? Yeah.
but you know something, I would take him on my team any day of the week. He's a really good player,
I
really good.
guess I don't know. I don't know. He just
You know what's
aggravates
weird
me.
though? A lot of guys around the league are buddies. Him, Chris Kreider and him, they say are really good friends. Like, I don't know. He works out with a lot of guys in the off season. It's just he's like one of them guys. Just when he steps on the rink, he's just a complete jerk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just want to kick him in the teeth, you know?
But if he was on your team, you'd have his jersey. Same
I
thing with
guess. I
Marchand.
don't know.
I say that all the time about Brad Marchand. I was like, oh, he's this, he's that, he's the other thing. I'm like, yeah, okay. You'd love him to death if he was on your team. Love him.
Yeah, I guess because I don't know. I like Marshawn. I hate him because of the way he acts. But I
Mhm.
seen him with the kids and stuff. I watched some videos with
Does a
him
lot
and
of good things
kids.
off the ice.
Yeah, and I gained some respect for a guy because he's pretty respectful when it comes off the ice and with those kids and stuff. He's just a stand up guy. So I kind of like him for that.
After Jimmy Hayes passed away, they say he's done a lot to help out his kids and stuff like that, and working with them, playing hockey and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So I think he's just one of those guys. When he gets in between the lines, he is who he is. Away from the game, I think he's a really good dude. Actually, you know what I mean. Tom Wilson too. Like
Right? Yeah.
I think he's just one of them guys. Once he steps on that ice, like the switch flips and it's like your fair game. It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, because even me, I was like that. I'd get on the ice and it was just a whole different animal would come out of you.
Yeah. It's And a little bit of news here. Keandre Miller had off-season surgery. They say he will not be probably ready for the start of the season. Will miss training camp, most likely. So that's something to talk about maybe real quick because what does
Trade
Chris
or
Drury
no
do now?
trade?
Like, was he a guy that he was thinking about unloading, or where do you go now? Because you won't get probably the value you would get back for him if you did trade him because he is
Right.
injured. But
Injured,
at this,
not possibly not making the beginning of the season.
and not only that, like the whole thing with the trade thing is what's coming back because he plays 20 minutes a night, which is hard
Yeah.
to replace. So, uh, real quick,
He
real
is an
quick update here: Vegas just scored, so two to
oh,
one.
so it's 2-1 now?
Yep, yep. But
Two to
back to
one.
Miller, like it's just they're kind of in the pinch. Like I heard Molly Walker from the Post propose like maybe a 2-year deal, and everyone sits down, and then
Yeah, because he's going to want a long term contract, but being injured in the way he played last year, they're
he
not going to
can't.
want to
He
give
doesn't
him
have the
something
leverage
long.
to get it.
He's a restricted free agent, but they also got Cooley, who's a restricted free agent, and there was
Hmm.
one more. There was three of them. I can't
Hmm.
remember the third guy. There were
Zach
three
Jones.
of them. Yeah, there you go. But they got to sign those two, and then, who knows what's going to happen with Zach Jones? They may end up letting him go and trading him off.
Zach Jones. Mike Sullivan's got some repair work to do if they're going to keep him because he's not too
Oh man,
happy.
and
And I don't
a
blame
lot
him.
of those guys weren't happy, but they deserve to bitch, but at the same time, you got to be professional about it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I don't think Jones was out of line in what he said. He's just like, I'm playing hard. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. And it's
Yeah,
like
and
every time I
it
turn around,
sucks.
like I'm getting scratched or something. And it's like,
And it just didn't make any sense because he
doesn't.
made more of a an ice presence than
Yeah.
like
He can play.
Susie or Vakanainen.
Hakaninen, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was so much better, and he was like almost like a Brian Leach on the blue line. That's he
He
could
can
make
really
those
skate,
moves.
and he's a really good offensive player. And I think he's improved defensively. You know what I mean? He's not the biggest guy in the world. So, and another big update, Vegas just scored again. So it's 2-2.
Holy smokes! Wow, we go from 2-0 Edmonton to 2-2 just
And
like
I think we're
that.
basically putting dirt on Vegas a couple minutes ago, and now they're
I
back in
know.
it. So it's kind
Okay,
of
you know what? Vegas sucks. Oh no,
right,
Edmonton's
right.
gonna steamroll them. That's what it was.
Yeah, more good thinking from Murphy over here. Yeah, good job, Murphy.
I know a lot of our picks were like totally off.
Oh yeah, well they
Every
usually
time
are.
the next round when we pick something, I'm gonna go with the other team that I was gonna
Yeah, I
pick
am too. Just
because it
go
seems how
opposite
it
of
was
whatever
going.
I say because whatever I say, I could have like the '87 Oilers and I'd still get it wrong.
Yeah,
You know?
I couldn't believe that. Like half our picks were wrong. What the heck?
Yeah,
And
well.
usually like these teams would have like buried them in a regular season. You know?
I mean, the Florida thing, I took Florida, but I mean that series isn't over yet. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but
Yeah, yeah. I'm
it's
still very interested. I like those two teams. That's a great
I do
matchup.
too. I really like the way Florida plays, and I kind of have like a soft spot for the Maple Leafs because they haven't won in so long, and like their
Yeah.
fan base is just like
But
tortured. It's
if
like,
they had won last night, oh my God, they would have put a stranglehold on Florida. But
oh god,
Florida is just so deep in
they're
their
resilient too.
players. You know what I mean? Like they're scoring, they're hitting, their pressure. Once they start playing that hard hockey that they did last year, like
They
they
grind you
literally
down.
like just they I think that whole second overtime I watched, they had control of the puck the whole time.
Yeah,
Toronto was just like dying in their own zone.
but they just grind you down the way they play. Like they just keep coming at you and
Yeah.
hitting you and hassling you. Like it's a lot.
They play just like Carolina, but like they play like they're
More physical though.
stronger.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep, more physical.
And you know what the thing is? I heard the guys on TNT talk about Carolina, how they don't have star power. Florida has star power.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
the difference.
That they do.
With Barkov, with Kachuk, like they have big guns. Like
And
I think Carolina is more of a team that just gets it done by. I mean, I think they have some really good players. I don't think they have. I think that's why they traded for Rantanen. Like they're like, we need like a big, like
and
a stud. You know what I
you
mean?
know
Like,
what's crazy about these teams is too is a lot of these teams, these big teams here in this playoffs, they got a lot of free agents coming up this year.
oh yeah,
So you're going to see those teams change as far as standing
Toronto.
wise. And yep. And little another fun fact, I watched a Rangers 94 Stanley Cup video the other day, and the Rangers won the President's Trophy, went to the Eastern Conference Final, and then didn't make the playoffs the next year, and then
Mhm.
won the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Last couple seasons, Rangers won the President's Trophy. Went what they made it to the Eastern Conference Final, then lost, right?
Mhm.
And then they didn't make the playoffs this year. So
Yep.
just listen, we'll keep our fingers crossed here
We're hoping.
that maybe this is a repeat of those 3 seasons, and this year we'll get a Stanley Cup
That'd be
with the
real,
right
really.
coach.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. He was at the Knicks game today. Everyone was making a big deal of it. I'm like,
I
well,
know. I saw some pictures
he's a New
online.
Yorker now, so like he's going to be at the Knicks game sometime.
They were saying he was under fire for that press conference that Ranger fans were bashing him because he didn't really like make it like he was gonna do everything in his power, and I'm like, dude, this clickbait is so dumb. Like,
But the thing is,
we haven't even got to like June yet, and you guys are already tearing this guy apart.
what do you want him to say? Like he's not going to publicly like smash players, or he might say, "Hey, I think we got some things." He's going to give you the politically correct answer. Hey, we got some things to clean
Right.
up. some
You
whatever.
know what? They already know where the weak spots are. Drury knows where it
He
is. He knows where
he
it
was in.
is.
He's been in Pittsburgh. He's played against the Rangers. They played in the playoffs a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like I'm quite. He even said, "I'm very familiar with this roster." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And he had a lot of those guys on the Four Nations team. So,
that's exactly
and
like
you know
it's.
dang well he's been watching games from last season to catch up. He knows where those weak links are, and I'm sure they'll get them squared away. And who's going to be sent out of here, or who they're talking about sending out of here.
All these coaches, like, if you think that, like, when you hear these guys say, "Oh, I don't read the paper, I don't go on social media," yes, they do. And if they
Yeah,
don't
of
do it, they have
course.
somebody doing it for them. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Like, hey, by the way,
They gotta have their ear to the ground, like
come on.
to know what's going on.
And again, he's not going to tell you that publicly. Like, it's just that's not good. That wouldn't be in his best interest to start alienating people before he even gets his hands on them.
And you know what? What did you say earlier? It's all a bunch of BS and clickbait what's going on right now until what, the draft, right?
Oh, you get like a week or two out from the draft, then things start to, come into focus. But like now, like everyone on the Rangers is getting traded. It's like hilarious. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean? Like
everywhere, anywhere.
Drury's getting traded, Sullivan's getting fired before training camp. Like it's just insane. But it is what it is. That's the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
And on a quick note here, Joel Quenneville's back in the league, got the Anaheim job. Interesting hire. Very good coach. Obviously, there was some baggage from the Chicago incident a few years ago.
Oh yeah. Big
And
incident.
but something, a lot of people think Anaheim's actually a nice job to land because they have a lot of young players, they have cap space, they have a lot of assets to work with. Like a lot of people feel like the right coach, you could turn that team around really
Yeah.
quick.
That man's catching a lot of flack, and people are saying he shouldn't be in the league and shouldn't be nowhere near average. But
Well, to be fair, the GM that was running Chicago at the time, Bowman, is running Edmonton now.
right,
So
there's a lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda over there, but you know
there
what?
is
Nobody did anything, and he wasn't the only one in there.
exactly.
So
you know, and like I said, I get it too. You don't see Bowman because he's tucked away up in the box up there, and Quenneville's obviously right there, point blank
right,
on the bench.
yep.
But Bowman had his hands in that mess too. So you know, I don't know. Like I said, the guy paid his penance to me. Like he sat out a few years. He did his suspension. So it's
I
it
was
is what it is.
I looked him up. He played for the St. Louis, or no, I'm sorry. He
Coach the
played for the
Blues.
Toronto Maple Leafs. He played for the Colorado Rockies, the New Jersey Devils, the Hartford Whalers, and the Washington Capitals.
Hmm.
He also coached the St. Louis Blues, the Colorado Avalanche, Chicago Blackhawks, which we all know, and the Florida
I don't think he
Panthers.
ever coached the Avalanche. He coached the
I
Blues,
don't.
then he went to the Blackhawks.
No, this is what it says here. I got it
Really? Oh,
right
maybe
here.
he was.
Yeah,
Maybe he
yeah.
was there.
I don't know
Oh,
how long, but this is all. This is what I pulled
I
up.
don't remember him coaching the Avalanche.
Yeah, yeah. It says St. Louis Blues, Colorado Avalanche, Chicago
Hmm.
Blackhawks, Florida Panthers, and now currently the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, he was in Florida too for a while, and then all
Oh,
that
here you
stuff came
go.
out.
Here you go. I found it. Colorado Avalanche from 2005 to 2008.
Wow,
Yep.
I don't even remember
So
that.
St. Louis was 96 to 2004, and then he left there and went to
Yeah, he was in St.
Colorado.
Louis for a while.
Yep, went to
He succeeded
Colorado
Mike Keenan, actually.
and went 2019 to 2021 with the Florida Panthers, and
Hmm.
here we are today in 2025 with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
And like I say, hey, hope maybe he can turn that around. We'll see what's going. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I can't believe they hired him. I'm like, well, they've been bad for a long time. Like they need somebody to
Yeah.
come in and clean it up. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. I mean, I guess he was, I don't know, did he ever win any cups when he was a coaching or no?
Chicago, he won 3.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't say here, and I don't know much
yeah.
about
No,
the
he
guy,
was the
but
coach of the
who he was
Blackhawks
and
when
what
they were
happened.
dominant. You know
Yeah,
what I
so
mean?
he's
So
got a couple cups under his belt. I mean, he hasn't coached for
a couple years.
what, about 4 years now?
Mhm. Yeah,
So I
well, he was
mean,
suspended from the league for a while too.
yeah, but regardless, the guy's still glued to the NHL. He
Yeah,
probably
and I
is in
mean, he
touch
tried
with a lot of people all the time.
he tried to get back in, and then like I said, he was reinstated, and I believe he got some interviews last summer, but I guess people were still a little But I
Yeah, a
guess
little weirded
Anaheim
out
figured,
because
you know what?
nobody wants that bad publicity.
And I guess Anaheim figured, you know what? We're desperate here, so, you know, let's go for it.
Yeah, like you said earlier, you put some wins together, everybody's going to forget about it.
Yes, they will.
You win a
It's the best
Stanley Cup in
deodorant.
Anaheim, and he'll be a hero again.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Let him get to the playoffs this year. They'll be building a statue for him in the city.
You're certainly right.
I don't know. I mean, that's about it for me tonight, Jer. I don't know about
Yeah.
you got anything else?
No, I mean, shoot. I just heard Panarin's going to the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah, he's
I
going.
heard that Lafreniere's going somewhere. I heard that Keandre Miller's going somewhere. I heard Dolan's going somewhere.
Oh yeah. Zibanejad's going to Boston. I heard Vancouver today was another team. He's going to Vancouver
Yeah,
now too. I'm
yep.
like,
Oh my
okay.
goodness gracious.
But like I said, up until the draft, then things will come more into focus. I think, where people are actually going, because I don't hear any of these like big name guys that get information saying any of these things. I hear all these like independent people saying these things. So I'm kind
Yeah.
of like, all right, where are you getting your
Yeah,
information
everybody's looking
from?
for views. We need
Mm,
views too, but you know what? We're not going to
yeah,
do all this
yeah,
stuff. Maybe
exactly.
maybe one video. I don't know.
One or two, but
One or
like not
two. I
like
don't know.
17
We're
of them in
telling
a
you the
day.
truth. It's all a bunch of BS clickbait. Come
Yeah,
on.
it is.
Until after the draft, like Tom Murphy says, and then the real deal starts to happen.
Even before the draft, you'll get some buzz,
Yeah.
like some real buzz, because
Especially
that's when trades can happen.
once the playoffs are over too.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it's you'll start to hear a little bit more, and then that draft comes around, and then you're
sure.
gonna hear a
And
whole
then
bunch of buzz and a whole bunch of real stuff happening.
that's when the new league year starts, and that's when the salary cap is clear, and everyone knows how much money they have and what they can do, what they can't do, and whatnot, and you go from there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like right now, it's like every day you see something, but whatever. It is what
Ugh,
it is.
so hard because you're just like when you don't make the playoffs, you're just itching for hockey.
Oh yeah, it's.
I'm just
But
itching.
there's been some good series so far, so you know.
But you know what bugs me the most is like you make it so far in the playoffs and then you don't make the playoffs and now you got to wait a whole nother summer and
Hmm.
then a whole nother year and you hope they make the playoffs the next
Hmm.
year.
Yeah, it's.
That's the bummer. And then every year we get older and older and
Yeah, yeah.
older.
It's actually I like make jokes all the time. It's like it's pretty sad when you start watching sports and like guys you've seen retire. Now you see their kids playing, and you're
Yeah, I
like
think that's some.
the guy
Oh,
the
man.
Jets the New York Jets drafted, that Taylor kid from LSU. I'm like, I watched his father get drafted, play his whole career, and now his son's in the
How about
NFL. I'm
Keith
just like,
Kachuk? He's got two of them
yeah,
playing.
exactly. Watch his whole career too.
Yeah, and
It's
you
just
know
like,
what? I don't know who's better, the old man or the kids.
mm. The
They're
old man
pretty
was
good.
pretty good. A lot of
Yeah.
people feel like he's been snubbed for the Hall of Fame because he didn't get a lot of assists. Scored a lot. He's got over 500 goals though.
Yeah, he should be in there. There's no doubt.
I believe he should be too.
He was a good player. He was a good power play guy too.
Tough play, tough guy.
Yeah, real tough guy.
You couldn't move him in front of that net. He would just stand
Yeah,
there and just be like.
he
But it's.
probably has a lot of back injuries because of it.
I saw an interview with him. I know he had his whole mouth redone because like all his teeth were smashed out. He goes, I guess I should have wore a mouthpiece all those years. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even know if that would do anything. That the league. I think the league is less. I want to say physical, but less brutal now than it
Oh
was back
God, yeah.
then. Because there were elbows flying, there were cross checks, sticks everywhere. I mean, and they got away with all that. Now you can't. There's so many rules. It's like
No,
ridiculous.
they've cracked down on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see the same stuff you saw in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. Like there's no way.
You even
Even in
take
the
your hand
90s,
off your
like,
stick and put it near a guy. They're like ready to call a penalty, but
oh yeah.
they'll hide all the BS, like the real calls, and then they'll call the dumb calls. You know what I mean?
Like the ticky tack ones.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. You want to see it get
They
back to a
missed a
little bit
couple
more
calls in
old
that
school.
Washington game today, and it was like there were a couple like real blatant calls, and then they called like Washington for some like I don't know, like holding the stick or it was obstruction, and it was obstruction. But I was kind of like, some
Yeah,
guy just got whacked in the face with a stick last period.
dude,
You didn't call
bleeding over
that,
there on the ice, and you just like, oh, I didn't see nothing. And
but
this guy's got his finger on somebody's stick, and you're calling obstruction.
yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't know, the officiating's a little shaky in the NHL, so just
Yeah.
like every other sport, you know.
Yep. Depends
So
on what's going on behind the scenes. Not
mm,
saying that there
this
is,
is
but
true. This is true.
Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for hanging with us this weekend. Listen to us chat about some hockey. We'll see y'all on the next episode. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you can see more of these videos. Come on back again. Hang with us some more. Peace.